All right, guys, we got a new video here. This one is called Walk Away If She Has These 4 Red Flags. Let's take a gander.
What's going on, fellas? So, men, today I'm going to give you 4 red flags that if you are a high frequency man, or if you are a man on his purpose, you should definitely avoid these if you seem to notice or spot these in a woman.
Dude is fucking ripped. Let me just say that off top. I don't know what his gym routine is, but it's probably crazy.
Now, fellas, today what we're not going to do is we're not going to talk about the typical, oh, she has tattoos, and oh, she's a single mom. And we're definitely not going to talk about body count. All right, fellas, we're going to talk about the updated 2026 version of what you guys like to call red flags. Now, fellas, before I get into how to spot a critter, there are 3 traits, 3 assets that every man must have in order to not just be successful with women in dating and relationships, but also become a top tier and a high value man in a social, economic, social world, so on and so forth. The first thing is discernment. All right, fellas, what discernment basically is the ability to see. All right, fellas, to notice a red flag. The ability to see what most men can't. And I guarantee you by the end of this video, you're going to be able to see what most men don't see. The next thing you need is discipline. That's the ability to do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, and how you're supposed to do it. No matter if a woman is involved or not, or no matter if you have to walk away from a woman. And that's actually number 3, detachment. That's the ability to be who you are, to stick to your core. And that's also the ability to walk away from a woman if she has one of these red flags that I'm going to explain to you today. Now, fellas, I'm not going to be an extremist. That's why I'm only going to give you 4. Because I've had different conversations with different men. Some men say they like tattoos. Some men say that's a major red flag for them. Some men actually date single moms. Some men would die before they even approach a woman with kids. So we're going to talk about a few things that's a little bit more serious. All right, fellas. Now, first red flag to avoid in a woman is if she has TikTok brain. All right, fellas. Now, this one is deep. It's not so subtle, but it's deep. And I'm not really talking about if a woman has a social media. A lot of you guys, that is a strict standard. You don't want a woman with a social media page. And I totally understand why. And it's actually for the same reason I'm going to explain to you today. Now, what is TikTok brain? Now, TikTok can be anything, fellas. Okay, it can be Instagram. It can even be YouTube, to be honest with you. It can be whatever. It can be Pinterest as well. But if you are dating a woman and everything that comes out her mouth sounds like a TikTok soundboard, and you can't have a good, complete, articulate, adult, mature conversation with her without her referencing some type of trend or quote that she saw on her Pinterest account, fellas, this is a red flag. And this might sound petty, but I'm gonna tell you why. So one day, me and one of my exes were having an intense conversation. And when I say intense, I don't mean reckless or toxic. I just mean emotional. All right, guys. And then one day she went along to tell me, KD, you so selfish and I'm tired of you and you the reason why I went to therapy. Now, fellas, I'm listening to all the shit that came out her mouth. But when she said I'm the reason why she went to therapy, I had to pause. Because immediately in that moment, I felt like a villain. G, I'm sitting back whole time. I'm sitting back for 3 weeks, G. Pondering, reflecting on my own action. I'm taking real accountability. I'm like, gee, if I got a woman, I done drove women crazy. And I done led women on and strung women along and all this shit. But I ain't never had a woman tell me she went to therapy because of me. So I pondered on this shit, fellas, for about 3 or 4 weeks. And then me and her start talking more. She started expressing more shit to me. And over time, I realized, fellas, she didn't really go to therapy. This bitch actually went to TikTok therapy. And this is actually a thing for all you guys who don't know. There is a large contingent amount of women, fellas, and this is the deeper layer. This is the red flag in this. There is a large contingent amount of women and men. This is a gender neutral argument, all right, fellas? There are a large contingent amount of men and women who have no internal dialogue. All right, fellas, what that means is they have no internal sovereignty, meaning the conversations that they have in their head is not between them and themselves. And it's definitely not between them and God. It's between them and the last 56 posts that they done scrambled their fucking brain with. All right, fellas, if you have a woman waking up at 3:45 in the morning checking her TikTok feed while she's half asleep, fellas, that is a red flag.
Get the fuck out of my office.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. But more importantly, what I find is that this is one of the pinpoint problems with today's culture and the dating scene. And that is these platforms like TikTok and Instagram and so on and so forth, who a lot of women go to seek validation. They go there, whether they're wrong or right, and usually most cases wrong, they go there to seek validation behind that. So there's people who will actually tell them, even though they were wrong in whatever it is that they did, that they weren't wrong, that they are the victim, that they are right, and not to listen to everyone else, right? And this is what they go for. They're looking for that yes man, that yes woman. That's what they want to hear, right? And that's what he's talking about as far as, rotting that TikTok brain.
I am not saying that a woman cannot be on her phone. She pays that bill. That is her cellular device, and she can do whatever the fuck she wants to do with it. But you have to have one of the 3 Ds that we discussed earlier, fellas, and that's discernment. If you see a woman spending more time on TikTok than she does with herself, or if she's with you and she takes these mini breaks to calm her nervous system by scrolling, there is literally an activity that a lot of young people involve themselves, and older people as well, that a lot of people involve themselves in, and it's called brain rot. And they usually do this before bed, where they just sit on their phone and literally rot their brain on dopamine. What is the dopamine? TikTok, all this shit. That's what TikTok brain is, okay, fellas? Now, this is a red flag, and the reason why is because when you make decisions in relationships and dating dynamics, they usually should come from your core, your soul, who you are and how you see the world. But if they're coming from all of these different sources, social media to be exact, all of these different references, all of these different theories, all of these different opinions, you can't get that real woman. At the end of the day, you're going to be not only talking to her, but everybody on her social media feed. All right, fellas? Next one. All right, fellas. So, number 2. God, I'm going to get in trouble for this one. All right, fellas. Number 2 is spiritual cosplay. All right, fellas. Now, you will also see this in men as well. But if you see this in a woman, I am not telling you what to do. I am just telling you be aware. And 9 times out of 10, especially if you are a man who is serious about his spiritual alignment, you should definitely 100% not take this type of woman serious. Okay, fellas? There is a difference between a spiritual woman, a religious woman, and a woman who is cosplaying religion or spirituality. Now, fellas, this one is nasty. Who is nasty? Because it looks holy on the surface. All right, fellas, I'll give you a few examples. Fellas, if you ever come across a woman's social media page, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, it doesn't matter, fellas. All of this is branding. All right, guys. If you ever come across a woman's social media page and in her bio she has something along the lines of "God is my man," or fellas, if you see a woman and she has this shit in her bio, fellas, I swear on my life, run. All right, fellas, this is basically her saying at any moment that your actions, and for a lot of you guys that's watching the video today, you've actually been through this, so you can agree. Now, this is not obsolete. All right, this is not one size fits all. It's for all police. Leave me alone, all right? I've already prepared for this shit. I've crossed my T's. I made sure I spelled everything right, all right, fellas? Listen. What a woman like this may do, 9 times out of 10, especially, remember, fellas, this is the 2026 version of this shit. All right, this ain't the 90s or early 2000s. Shit is different. All right, G? If she's a Proverbs 31 woman, according to her bio, I didn't say if she's living this shit. If she's living this shit, it might be the woman of your dreams. But if she is cosplaying this shit, meaning the life that she lives over here. All right, fellas, when she's on demon time, if it's not matching her Sunday school life, don't take her serious. See, these type of women will usually submit to you in many ways: physically, mentally, emotionally, intimately. But when it comes to spirituality, fellas, they're usually going to take the superior route. And usually women like this don't actually put like God or spirituality or source in the middle of a relationship or dating dynamic. They usually put it in front of you, meaning meaning you become secondary to whatever doctrine she subscribed to. I know I'm being specific by using a Christian example, but it's just an example. This works in all religions and all cultures and all demographics when it comes to spirituality. Okay, fellas? So, oh God, these bitches. Now, fellas, the next type of woman that you should not take serious, and I'm not saying you can't date this woman, committee. Did I spell committee right? I don't know if committee has two T's. I'm not saying you should, y'all check me on this one. I'm not saying you can't date this woman. I'm saying you just can't take her serious. Okay, fellas? And what committee basically means is friends. All right, fellas? Now, there is nothing wrong with a woman having friends. As a man, you should have friends. You should have a life outside of your relationship and outside of the dynamic with your woman. That is how you're going to keep the polarity inside of the relationship. You having a purpose, and part of that purpose is your resources. And a facet of your resources is brotherhood, and you having friends you can count on, friends you can call in need and talk to when you want to crash out or vent. But fellas, if you're dealing with a woman who, if every decision she makes, she has to consult with her friends in order to make that decision, this goes along with number one. All right, fellas? A woman not having, or a person not having, an internal dialogue, meaning they can't think for themselves.
I mean, what's dangerous is a woman who is married and has a bunch of friends who are not married. That would be something I would definitely be taking a look at, because especially if you're consulting in them when you, like he said, wants to make a major decision, that could be a recipe for disaster is what it can be, because single women want other women to be single. Okay. And usually those women who are single, they're not single by choice. They don't want to be single, so that when they run into a friend who is happily married or in a happy relationship, if they get an opportunity, they're going to try to sabotage that. Okay. Because they want you where they are if they had a decision to make.
Meaning, most of the time, and I've learned this from experience and observance, most of the time when a woman is dating a man, and remember fellas, this video is only catered to men who are on their purpose, high frequency men, okay, or men who have aspirations to want to be high frequency men or high value men. Now, when a woman is dating a man in that caliber, and she's not used to or accustomed to men like that, or she's not living that type of lifestyle, 9 times out of 10, her friends are going to just be like her, not accustomed and not used to their lifestyle. So when she starts dating the man, the high value man, how she sees the world, how she sees life, how she sees men, and even how she sees herself is going to change. But it's going to be contrast to how her friends think. Okay, fellas, for example, if you are a man and you got your shit together and you are dating a woman who doesn't, and her friends don't as well, that is going to clash. And the reason why is because if she is too tied to the opinions and validation of her friend, that's usually going to override your program and hierarchy. So I'm going to be honest, fellas, a lot of you guys are not losing your women to other men. And you're not even losing your women to social media. You're losing your women to the group of critters she hanging out with, to be honest with you. Bang. All right, fellas, because you don't understand how many group chats I done read. All right, fellas, you are not competing with Chad. You are literally competing with the group chat. All right, most of the time, or sometimes at least. All right, fellas. So this one right here, this one is subtle as well. And this one is one that men actually feel in their soul and in their spirit before they actually feel in their body. All right, fellas. And the last one, y'all know I saved the game for the end, is a woman who has a no contribution instinct. And I don't necessarily mean a woman who's selfish. I mean that if you are a high value man or a man on your purpose and you're a man who has resources, you a man who has a great body, of course, you got your life together, you got charisma, you got friends, you got purpose, you got all this shit, spiritual alignment and everything. Naturally, as a man, you're going to pour into a woman, whether that's physically, financially, spiritually, whatever it is, because that's what we do as men. We provide and we protect, we give. And what women do is they receive in a divine way. But if a woman is receiving, okay, and you're pouring into a woman, whatever the case is, this shit can just be attention and energy. All right, fellas? And this woman is not pouring back into you. See, sometimes a lot of you guys think because a woman is feminine and submissive and she's beautiful, that equates to what you actually need as far as reciprocity from a woman. They got this whole conversation when people talk about what you bring to the table. I'm not saying women should pay bills, nor am I saying that women should surprise you with gifts or anything like that. I'm saying there's something unique and special and something that makes a man want to pour into a woman when she's at least trying to figure out who you are, or trying to understand you, or trying to figure out how to make your life better. It's a natural instinct. But when a woman doesn't have that, and even though she's submissive and loving and all this shit, but she's not reciprocating energy back. All right, there's a difference between you being masculine and you being a provider and a protector. You can walk around masculine, but if you're not contributing masculine energy to that woman, meaning giving guidance when needed, meaning shutting the fuck up when needed, whatever the case is. All right, fellas. So the problem with this one and the red flag in this is over time, you are going to start to resent the woman. And the woman may start to resent you because she knows internally and her soul knows she's not giving you as much as you're giving her. So naturally, she may start to feel inferior, especially if she hasn't gone through something we like to call ego death. So as I said, fellas, I'm going to list these again. These are the 3 Ds that you need as a man if you haven't written this down already. The first thing you need is...
Yeah, that's going to be the end, man. I just wanted to see what he was talking about. He makes some very valid points. And 2 things can be true or wrong at the same time. It's just what you as a man would want. It's just what you are looking for. And you can get any of those combinations and it could work for you or not. Right. But definitely something to take a gander at and, take something from. He definitely had some things to say that from experience, you could tell by some of the things he was saying and how he was saying it, that he literally, it's almost as if he just went through some of this stuff, right? It was so still fresh in his mind. And I could feel that when he was expressing this, in the video. So, definitely a character. Never seen this guy before, but, I'm going to try to check out some more of his videos. I might do a few more of these, but that's going to do it. I hope everybody enjoyed your time here. If you did, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. I drop content every single day on this channel. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video.